Let the conversations begin. Why don't you just leave? Why are you still there? This is a question that you might have asked at least once in your life. And for some others, this question might pop up in their everyday conversations. We often look at someone else's life and wonder, why do they still put up with this? Why don't they just leave? Sounds like a simple question with an obvious answer, isn't it? But the answer is much more complex because human behaviors are more complex than we think. Let me explain. You might have asked this question to your friends, to your colleagues, or to your sisters, brothers, and sometimes to your own child. Maybe because they might be stuck in an unhealthy relationship, or in a job that they don't like, or in a friendship situation where they're hurting themselves on a daily basis, right? And leaving them seems so obvious. But human behavior is rarely that simple. Here are the few reasons why a person who is supposed to leave that situation might stay back. The first reason is the fear of the unknown. Yes, there is a lot of fear towards future. We all have that in us. Sometimes a person stay back because they're afraid of what comes next, right? At least the current situation they are living in is familiar. It's there are no surprises there. They know what to expect. And the unknown, that can feel more frightening. That is one reason. The next one is the hope and the potential they see in that situation or in that person that they're living with. They might sometimes think, oh, maybe they will change. Maybe things will become better. Maybe if I try one more time. They see so much potential um, that this situation is going to change. And the next one is often there are children involved, or some people might not be able to leave that situation because they might have an aging parents or people who are dependent because they are in that situation. They might worry what will happen to them, who's going to look after them if I'm not in this situation. And the next one is just quite obvious. It is financial dependence. Usually, there is the financial realities are much more harsher, isn't it? They might have to think about, where will I live? How will I take care of my children or my aging parents? Or how do I pay for my house? How do I pay for my food? What happens if I'm taken away from this support, even though it's a painful situation? And next comes the even more obvious one that we're all conditioned to believe, the society and family expectations, right? What will people think? What would um, what would my family think? And sometimes there is even more deeper issue, and that is identity. You may have spent years building your life around this relationship or your life around this career or the job that you really liked when you started, right? And when the thought of being taken away from this life can be quite overwhelming for some people, because instead of the obvious question of where will I go, there is much a harsher question that might pop up, and that is, who am I if I leave this? That and that is something many people fail to recognize from the outside, right? And sometimes people aren't choosing the situation they're in. They're choosing what feels survivable. Now, that doesn't mean the situation is healthy. It doesn't mean someone should stay in that situation. It's about understanding why the person choose to stay in that situation. It's not the same as telling them that they should stay or they should leave. It simply means recognizing that human decisions are often influenced by things that are more than logic. It could be fear, hope, familiarity, um, children, love, money, um, many other situations, right? And family expectations, society expectations, your personal image, and sometimes all of these things at the same time, right? A person might be thinking all of these things at the same time, and it is so overwhelming. So perhaps instead of asking someone, why don't you just leave? I think we should ask, what makes leaving feel impossible right now? Because that is an open question. When you ask an open question like that, it could lead to a deeper conversation, which would help the person feel that they're not judged. We all understand that many of the adults doesn't need other people to come and tell them how they should lead their life. They understand what is best for them, what's the right thing to do, and all those things. They do understand it, even though it might not look for the other people that if they understand it, why are they still in the situation? Because the person um doesn't might not need the other person to come and tell them what to do. They might need them to help them understand their options, their fears. What are the next safe steps to take? And what would that might look like, right? These are the few things I have noticed. But there is something else I have noticed too. Most of us are quite attached to the situation that we are living in. That is something I'm going to discuss in my next video. If you think you have liked this video, please subscribe. And if you need more personal consultation, I'm going to leave my business details in the description. And please contact me. Thank you.